colleagues, both joining us on our platforms, on our internal platforms, and those that watching the broadcast on the different channels in our country. Welcome to today's media briefing that will be conducted by Minister in the Presidency, Minister Ntshavheni. The post-cabinet briefing would be giving the outcomes of the cabinet meeting that was held on the 7th of August 2024. Maybe the ground rules for those who are in the Maroni Mamwepa Media Center. Let's keep our gadgets on silent, and this would be the process. The minister would come brief us, and we will then open for questions. Firstly, here in Roni Mamwepa Center at GCIS, and then invite the online questions that will be sent on our usual groups that we use, the two groups that will be there, and we will then also give the minister an opportunity to respond to both the questions asked in the House and also those asked online. I'm joined also by my colleague C. Pombele. For those who are in the House and they would need further assistance, whether in the form of one-on-ones, whatever, C. Pombele from the Office of the Minister is available to assist on that. Joining the Minister today is the Acting DG of GCIS, Ms. Nomonde Mnokwa. I want to also recognize the presence of the sign language interpreters that will be assisting with this media briefing. On that note, colleagues, allow me to then invite the Minister in the Presidency, Minister Ntshavheni, to lead us in this briefing. Minister, thank you.
Thank you, Brawili. I do not know whether the pace at which you were speaking, it's a subtle message to me to slow down in my address, and I commit to try to do my best because I noticed that particular one. Good morning, colleagues. I'm here to present the statement on the cabinet meeting of Wednesday, the 7th August 2024. I almost called it 1994. The first normal cabinet meeting of the 7th administration took place at the Union Buildings in Pretoria 2 days before the country commemorates the National Women's Day, as we mark the 68th anniversary of the Women's March and the 70 years since the adoption of the Women's Charter, a declaration of intent by the Federation of South African Women, which clearly defined the rights and privileges for women by women of South Africa. We do this and we celebrate the appointment of Justice Mandisa Maya on her trailblazing appointment as the South Africa's first female Chief Justice of the Constitutional Court. In fact, she's the first female Chief Justice of the Republic of South Africa. She also previously served with distinction as the President of the Supreme Court of Appeal since 2017, and she was also the first woman to hold that position. And to give context to what it means, the appointment of Chief Justice Mandisa Maya means in that position, I want to give you context coming from the International Association of Women Judges. They write to say, in 1994, there were approximately 165 judges in South Africa, 160 of whom were white men. There were 3 were black men and 2 were white women, and no black women were judges at that time. As of February 2023, there are 253 judges, comprised of which 113 are women, broken down to 32% black women plus 13% white women, making up a total of 45% women representation. Additionally, the remaining 140 male judges are comprised of 39% black men and 17% white men. And therefore, this year, it's a special year for the women of South Africa, in particular with the Chief Justice of the Republic being female. On issues from the Republic, from the environment, the 2024 Paris Olympics and Team South Africa, Cabinet congratulated Team South Africa for proudly representing the country at the Paris Olympics and congratulates swimming sensation Tatiana Smith for winning gold in the women's 100-meter breaststroke and silver in the 200-meter breaststroke. They congratulates the Blitzbokkers for winning bronze in the men's rugby sevens, the mountain biker Alan Heatherley for winning bronze during the men's cross-country cycling mountain bike at the Paris Olympic, and Akani Simbine, who set a new national record when he secured a 4th place finish in the men's 100-meter nail-biting final. Amongst the fastest men in the world, South Africa is counted number 4 in that race. He did us proud. South Africans are called upon to continue to support Team South Africa, which will also be competing in the Paralympic Games that will take place from the 28th of August until the 8th of September 2024. We've seen the support you've given to Team South Africa, and may you continue and extend it to the Paralympics. We are looking for more tallies in the medals with the Paralympics Games. On the economy, rail infrastructure, Cabinet welcomed the introduction of new high-tech trains on the Central Line in the city of Cape Town by the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa, commonly known as PRASA, an agency of the Department of Transport. The service has been extended from Nyanga to Mandalay Station. The trains will utilize modern signaling system from Langa to Mutual Line to enhance the safety and reliability of the rail service. The modern high-tech features in these trains include automated doors and CCTVs for each coach, and they are done so that we can have improved passenger safety, and I wrote on them in the last 3 weeks. Cabinet further commended the recovery of more lines, which is part of the government's priority of providing safe, reliable, and affordable public transport. UNESCO's World Heritage Site, or sites in plural. Cabinet welcomed the latest addition of the South African Human Rights and Liberation Struggle sites in the prestigious list of UNESCO's World Heritage Sites. The sites termed as the Human Rights, Liberation and Reconciliation, the Nelson Mandela Legacy Sites, not only help preserve our unique heritage, but catapults our country to prominence as a major tourist attraction for World Heritage Sites, thereby boosting tourism and the economy. And these sites include the Union Buildings, the Constitutional Hill, Lilies Leaf Farm, Sharpeville, Water Sulu Square, 16 June 1976, the streets of Orlando West, University of Fort Hare, and the Z.K. Matthews House, comprising of 2 parts, Maqhekezeni, Vaihook, and Ohlange. The UNESCO World Heritage Committee further inscribed 3 Middle Stone Age sites in recognition of South Africa's significant contribution to the understanding of the origins of modern man behavior. These are Deep Kloof rock shelter close to the Elands Bay in the Western Cape, and Pinnacle Point Site Complex in Mossel Bay in the Western Cape, and Sibudu Cave in KwaDukuza, KwaZulu-Natal. We have said human race started in Africa and human race started in South Africa. On the media population estimates, Cabinet welcomed the media population estimates for 2024, which showed that South Africans are living longer. Life expectancy has increased to 66.5 years from 53.6 years in 2005 as a result of multiple government interventions that included the expanded rollout of antiretroviral therapy, which is one of the largest antiretroviral therapy programs in the world, the provision of vaccinations, and the decrease in the infant mortality rate from an estimated 57 infant deaths per 1,000 life births in 2002 to 22.9 per 1,000 life births in 2024. South Africa's population now exceeded 63 million, growing 1.3% from July 2023 to July 2024. The updated population growth figures will assist government on safety and security, starting with the fight against crime. Cabinet welcomed the continued successes of law enforcement agencies in the arrest of members of organized crime syndicates and gangs as part of the ongoing fight against crime. Operation Chanela of the South African Police Service has also ensured the arrest of 766,237 suspects for various crimes, and 161,752 of these were wanted suspects for priority crimes such as murder, cash in transit heist, armed robberies, rape, car hijacking, amongst others. Cabinet welcomed the shutting down of an illegal military training camp in White River, Mpumalanga, following an intelligence-driven multidisciplinary law enforcement operation, which has also resulted in the arrest of 95 Libyan nationals. Cabinet has reiterated a call to all South Africans to partner with law enforcement agencies in the fight against crime without resorting to vigilantism. Cabinet has taken a dim view of actions by some community leaders that amounted to threatening of learners and teachers at their school. The Department of Basic Education will continue to work with the South African Police Service to ensure schools remain safe spaces for learning and teaching. And we also call upon communities to work with the Department of Basic Education and the police and the school governing bodies to make sure that our schools are safe spaces for learning and teaching. On fraud and corruption, cabinet officials of the Department of Home Affairs and foreign nationals who were found guilty of committing fraud and corruption against the immigration. Cabinet was briefed about the initiatives underway to ensure water security in the country, given the increasing demand for water due to population and economic growth, and the fact that 75% of available surface water resources in South Africa have already been captured. And this simply says we are a water scarce country. Currently, there are 14 major national surface water resources infrastructure projects to the value of more than 100 billion rands in different stages of development. The Department of Water and Sanitation has established a water partnerships office together with SALGA and the DBSA, aimed at assisting municipalities to drive initiatives to diversify and develop alternative water resources to ensure water security into the future. Cabinet was also updated about the progress to ensure water supply to the residents of Giyani and Hammanskraal and addressing the sewage spills in the Mfuleni municipality. Cabinet was informed that water has started to flow to 9 villages and by end of August 2024, increase the capacity of the Giyani water treatment works. The department, in collaboration with the City of Tshwane and the Magalies Water, are completing a Magalies Water project to provide an alternative source of drinking water to the people of Hammanskraal by October 2024, whilst the City of Tshwane continue to repair and upgrade the Rooiwal wastewater treatment works. Given the increasing challenges of water supply in the country, the Department of Water and Sanitation will provide fortnightly briefings on progress with addressing water insecurity and measures the communities must take to ensure water security in our water scarce country. So in addition to the briefings that the country receives from the Minister of Electricity and Energy, will also receive the briefing from the Minister and head, of Water and Sanitation and her team. We're doing that to make sure the country can be at the same pace, at the same par with government in terms of efforts that have to be made by both government and the partners, but also by the communities to save water, because without saving water, South Africa's future will remain bleak and our development will be threatened. On electricity, the supply of consistent electricity is now a step closer to the steadfast implementation of the Energy Action Plan that was announced by the President in July 2022. The Energy Action Plan's consistent focus on planned maintenance and work to achieve energy security by bringing on board new generation capacity has contributed greatly to consistent power supply and no load shedding for over several months. Now we no longer count in days, we count in months. This is an important enabler for economic growth and has a positive impact on the quality of life, allowing citizens to continue with their daily activities unhindered. Eskom recorded unplanned capability loss factor of 8,321 megawatts at the end of July 2024, signaling a historic milestone in the improvement of electricity generation at its power stations. Cabinet congratulated Eskom on achieving this important milestone and urged South Africans to continue adopting an energy-saving lifestyle to protect our national grid. By doing so, we all play our part in helping to keep the lights on, which is crucial for both business, industry, the economy, but also our daily lives. On trade, the 21st AGOA Forum, Cabinet was appraised of the successful participation of South Africa's delegation in the 21st African Growth and Opportunity Act, or AGOA Forum, in the United States as a positive confirmation of good bilateral relations between our country and the USA. South Africa continues to advance a case for the renewal of the AGOA Act, which expires in 14 months, and support calls by the African trade ministers for the US government to do away with the annual reviews of AGOA. On the SA-EU citrus disputes at the World Trade Organization, Cabinet was also briefed about a formal dispute the country has initiated with the World Trade Organization against the European Union's stringent and unnecessary plant health requirements with regard to citrus black spot and false codling moth regulations on the export of South Africa's citrus products to the EU. South Africa is the world's second largest exporter of citrus, and 33% of South Africa's citrus exports are destined for the EU market. South Africa's industry provides direct employment for over 140,000 people, mainly in rural South Africa, and thus result in significant costs for the South African citrus industry, which are estimated at 2 billion rands or 110 million US dollars per year. The EU has decided to impose the stringent measures against South Africa, whilst not requiring the same from countries with similar conditions such as Israel. So South Africa contends that the EU is deciding to close the EU market against South African citrus products in favor of other countries, which is prohibited in terms of World Trade Organization rules. And therefore, we have initiated a dispute. The process takes a bit of a while, but the process is now formally underway. On international relations, Cabinet welcomed the ICJ's advisory opinion on the legal consequences arising from the policies and practices of Israel in the occupied Palestinian territories, which unanimously affirmed that Israel's continued presence in the occupied Palestinian territories is unlawful under international law. The judgment creates an additional legal obligation for all states to end complicity in Israel's illegal actions and to act to ensure respect for international law. South Africa was amongst 49 UN member states that delivered a statement on the matter to the ICJ in February 2024. Unrest in Kenya and Nigeria. Cabinet raised concerns with the continuing unrest in Kenya and Nigeria and urged all parties to find urgent solutions to the plight of the citizens with the high cost of living, impact of the high cost of living on South Africans, and will in due course announce same. United Kingdom's general elections. South Africa stands ready to work with the government of the United Kingdom to increase trade and partnership, and our relationship is historic. Government will continue to monitor developments in other countries that are holding elections this year. On South Africa's candidature to multilateral bodies, Cabinet has supported the candidacy of Ms. Swazi Pajubile Shabalala for the presidency of the African Development Bank for the term 2025 to 2030 at elections that will take place in August 2024. The elections are currently underway. Cabinet also endorsed the candidacy of Ms. Yvette van der Merwe for president of the Organization of Vine and Wine at elections to be held in France in October 2024. Cabinet also has submitted a bid for re-election to the South Africa has submitted a bid for re-election to the Human Rights Council for the 2026-2028 period. South Africa's request for endorsement to the African Union, because we need their support, has been submitted to the UN Human Rights Advisory Committee for the period 2025-2027 to 2027 at the elections scheduled to take place in October 2024 in New York in the USA. South Africa is also seeking terms on the UN's Commission on the Status of Women in 2025 and the Commission for Social Development in 2025. The elections of both bodies will take place in April 2025. South Africa will seek election to the UN Security Council for a 2-year term for the period 2031 to 2032, which will be the period that will be the turn of Southern Africa. Preparations for South Africa's presidency of the G20. South Africa will take over the presidency of the G20 from the 1st of December 2024. Cabinet received an update on the preparations for South Africa's G20 presidency and the hosting of the G20 summit in 2025. An interministerial committee has been assigned the responsibility to organize this event on behalf of government and South Africans. South Africa will continue to use opportunities to lead and host international forums such as the G20 to focus global attention to the development challenges confronting Africa. We will commemorate the 2024 National Women's Day on the 9th of August at the Dennis Nell Stadium in Pofadder in the Northern Cape under the theme Celebrating 30 Years of Democracy Towards Women's Development. This year's celebration of Women's Month will take stock of the progress made by socio-economic empowerment of women since the advent of democracy and the achievements of the Women's Charter. Our nation pays tribute to the more than 20,000 women who marched to the Union buildings on the 9th of August 1956 in protest against the extension of past laws to women. Cabinet invites citizens to be part of the events of the month, which will also provide a trade expo, interactive dialogues, and showcase opportunities available for women in diverse sectors that are instrumental in narrowing gender disparities. I think next week GCIS and the Department of Women will then provide a detailed briefing in terms of the activities that are planned for the month. The 32nd General Assembly of the International Astronomy Union. South Africa is hosting the world's largest astronomy meeting, which is the 32nd General Assembly of the International Astronomy Union in Cape Town. The meeting is convened over 2 weeks from the 6th of August 2024 and marks the first time a conference for the international astronomy community is taking place in the African continent. These engagements play an important role in assisting South Africa to move from a resource-based economy to a knowledge-based economy. South Africa has over the years made inroads in astronomy development and astronomy-related activities, heralding large science projects like the SKA and the Meerkat. The Money Smart Week South Africa. The 2024 Money Smart Week South Africa will run from the 26th of August 2024 to the 1st of September 2024, featuring various consumer-focused financial education programs and initiatives. The Money Smart Week South Africa is an initiative of the National Consumer Financial Education Committee to motivate, empower, and educate South Africans and contribute to a more financially literate citizenry. Activities during the campaign will include free workshops, presentations, mall activations, exhibitions, and webinars. Excuse me. On messages, we'll start with congratulations. Cabinet extended its congratulations and well wishes to Ms. Koleka Galeka, the Public Protector of South Africa, for being elected the Regional President of International Ombudsman Institute. To Dr. Mugwena Maluleke, the General Secretary of the South African Democratic Teachers Union, Dr. John Kani, veteran actor, director, and playwright, for being honored with the esteemed Order of the British Empire by His Majesty King Charles III. On condolences, Cabinet expressed condolences to the friends and family of the 5 learners from the Monarch Combined School who lost their lives when a bus they were traveling in collided with a train on the R104 road near Mafube village between Wonderfontein and Arnott in Mpumalanga. Veteran actress Connie Chiume, who was 72 years old, who was best known for her starring roles in the local series Rhythm City. She was also highly celebrated for her appearances in the Marvel film Black Panther and many more. The government, and we express our condolences to the government and the people of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia following the recent landslides in Gofa, southwestern Ethiopia, which tragically took the lives of at least 250 people. To the family and friends of 4 people, including a 6-year-old, who were killed in a crash between a bakkie and a goods train near Postmansberg in the Northern Cape. To the family and friends of Mr. Robbie Venter, who was 64 years old, the former CEO of Altron, who worked in various roles in the Altron Group since 1997. And to the family and friends of Mr. John Sidipa Mposi, 71, who was the chairman of Global Oil, a chain of fuel outlets. May their soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister, in the Presidency for the comprehensive statement. August is dedicated as a Women's Month in South Africa, and the Minister has indicated that we estimated our population to be at 63 million. Thank you very much, Minister. Colleagues, let me then invite questions in the House. The drill is the same. You introduce yourself and the media house that you represent. Let me check by show of hands if we have any takers. Thank you very much. Let me then check if we have any questions online. And that Ishmael Selemani.
Thank you, Chairperson. We do have a question from Zilico, Newsroom Africa. Minister, what is government's view on the statement by the ANC president over the weekend, where he talked the need to pay attention to metro municipalities, specifically Johannesburg? Is the government not concerned about changing of layers of metro? That's all for my case. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me check. Going on. I think, Minister, the statement was comprehensive and very clear. We will take that question, and I think, Minister, maybe you might take the liberty, not of closing. I see they are still typing, some of their colleagues. Thank you very much, Minister. You can take this one.
Thank you. I think I'm liking this media briefing. Only one question. Thank you. The ANC was addressing the ANC forum at the Lekgotla, closing of the Lekgotla, if I can remember whether it's the opening, which was publicly broadcasted, by the way. It also refers to the interventions in other municipalities. As we stand, we are already working on the, as part of the presidential working team for eThekwini, and we are already working to make sure that eThekwini functions. But also the president, during the opening of Parliament address, he announced the second phase of reforms that will focus on getting local government to work, but priorities being given to metro municipalities to work. So the President of the Republic has also instructed us to work on getting metro municipalities to work, not only Johannesburg, but already work is underway in eThekwini and other metro municipalities, but analyzing the necessary consultation. We are hoping, together with the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal and the Mayor of eThekwini, will then provide, and the Provincial Coordinator of the Presidential Working Group on eThekwini will then soon provide an update of the work that is being undertaken to improve and assist that metropolitan municipality. The decision, so the question should be directed to the parties that constitute the Johannesburg metropolitan municipalities. I am certain that there are reasons behind whatever moves that get made, but you will, Minister Simelane, then we had drafted a proposal which is out in public consultation on how to stabilize municipalities where there is no party that has won outright majority. If we learn from the GNU, would say the establishment of a framework for forming government in local municipalities where there's no outright winner. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. Let's try for the last time, the last round, Minister. I will look in the house and also go online if we have any questions. Ishmael?
Thanks, Chairperson. We do have two questions. The first one, Carol Payton, News 24. Minister, has the Cabinet decided who will be chairs of the various Cabinet committees? The last question, Belani Ndidi from Daily Maverick.
On Cabinet committees. Cabinet committees are not appointed by Cabinet. Cabinet committees are appointed by the President. He has informed us in Cabinet that he will be sending out the notices of the appointments of the chairpersons of the various Cabinet committees, and also with the NMOC process finalized, the configuration of the Cabinet committees. The second part is on the introduction of the social media policies for ministers. Government has a media and communication policy and protocols, and I'm hoping I'm calling it right, and protocols for government communicators, which is inclusive of ministers. There will be an induction, hopefully next week's induction, of ministers and deputy ministers, that they will come to understand what are the do's and don'ts, and we'll continue to work with them, the new ones in particular, on what has to be done in terms of cabinet communication policies. The social media will fall within that realm. And we must always remember that communication is not a static and a stagnant environment. It evolves, and as more platforms comes to being, will have to innovate and come with best practices. But we do not intend, as the government communication and information system, to unnecessarily hinder the ability of ministers and deputy ministers to communicate the messages of their department in the best platforms. We are currently working with the departments to finalize their own communication plans, which will also be aggregated to cluster plan, so that towards the end of this month, if not next month, I don't want to give a target, change a target on the podium. We are working on a government communication plan. You start to see ministers and deputy ministers then communicating more government programs as it relates to their departments than their personal views, because those platforms are made for that. So we don't intend to unnecessarily regulate the communication and use of ministers and deputy ministers. And we want to wish you a safe, long weekend. And those who are traveling, you must travel safely and keep the safe following distance. Keep yourself refreshed if you are driving. If you are using public transport, do not agree to be a passenger in a public transport that is to celebrate the women of South Africa and their resilience tomorrow. So whatever you do in your own personal spaces, we call upon you to join in celebrating this milestone, and we take this opportunity to say the celebrations of the 9th of August, Women's March.
Thank you very much. Women's Month, main event, government, women's